Coming in at number 1, numero uno, the head honcho, the GOAT, Caitlin Clark.
The world watched as ESPN released their list, but it wasn't just a ranking, it was a public execution of a rivalry. Angel Reese's name appeared at number 5, and within minutes, her social media lit up with cryptic messages. While her defenders called it confidence, insiders whispered the truth. It was a full-blown meltdown. The self-proclaimed face of the league had just been told she wasn't even in the running for the throne, and the silence from her camp in the hours that followed was deafening. This wasn't just about a number, it was about a narrative that was spiraling out of her control, and what she did next would only add fuel to the inferno.
I actually feel bad for Angel Reese at this point, and it has nothing to do with like how she's handled herself or anything. It's just simply Caitlin Clark is so much better than Angel Reese at basketball that it doesn't feel fair.
The 13 games this season, averaging 17 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, but when healthy, Clark's impact is enormous.
From the moment she was drafted, Caitlin Clark was treated less like a rookie and more like a savior. The media crowned her the Golden Girl, the one who would single-handedly elevate the WNBA. Her unbelievable stats and record-shattering performances only solidified this narrative. She wasn't just meeting expectations, she was destroying them, all while carrying the weight of the entire league on her shoulders. But this crown came with a heavy price. Every move was scrutinized, every game was a referendum on her greatness, and the league itself seemed to bend to her will. This created a dangerous environment where anyone who challenged her wasn't just a competitor, they were an enemy of progress.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese was being cast in a very different role. After defeating Clark for the NCAA championship, she was labeled the villain, loud, unapologetic, and defiant. While Clark was praised for her passion, Reese was criticized for her trash talk. Her confidence was called arrogance, and her swagger was deemed unsportsmanlike. The media machine had chosen its hero, and by default, it needed a villain to create the perfect story. Reese embraced the role, but the ESPN ranking revealed the devastating cost of that narrative. It didn't matter that she was a champion, she was being written out of the main story, relegated to a supporting character in the Caitlin Clark show.
Coming in at number 5, Angel Reese. There she is. You're not up there with Caitlin Clark. You slid down to 5. It's a lot of people in front of you, but you did make top 5.
The tension that had been simmering beneath the surface finally exploded on the court, and it turned ugly fast. First, Reese's teammate Chennedy Carter delivered a blindsided hip check to Clark that was heard around the sports world, a move many called a cheap shot. Just weeks later, Reese herself wound up and struck Clark across the head while going for a block, earning a flagrant foul. The replay was brutal, showing a level of aggression that seemed to go beyond the game. Analysts and fans were horrified, questioning if this was simply tough basketball or a calculated attempt to injure the league's biggest star. The rivalry was no longer just talk, it was becoming dangerously physical.
I'm not mad at this. I wouldn't have been mad if y'all put her at number 3. You gotta realize this girl's like 18-some years old. She realistically, everybody getting drafted with her for the most part is 4 and 5 years older than her.
While Reese's fans point to her record-breaking 12.2 rebounds per game, the analytics tell a much darker story. ESPN's ranking didn't just come from emotion, it came from a brutal statistical truth. Her shooting percentage languishes in the low 30s, a shockingly inefficient number for a player demanding to be seen as a league leader. In an era of positionless basketball, where everyone needs to be a threat, being a one-dimensional rebounder is a death sentence. While Reese is busy grabbing misses, players like Dominique Malonga are shooting over 60% from the field. The numbers don't lie. They paint a picture of a player whose game hasn't evolved, and the league is threatening to leave her behind. But the on-court stats were only half the battle.
Angela Reese is garbage. Pure garbage. In terms of a skill set, her versus Caitlin, she's garbage. She plays like a toddler.
The drama isn't just between Clark and Reese, it's brewing within their own locker rooms. In Chicago, Reese has to share the paint with her own teammate, Camila Cardoso, the #3 draft pick, who ESPN believes will eventually overshadow her. Every missed shot by Reese is a potential opportunity for Cardoso to prove she's the true future of the franchise. Meanwhile, in Indiana, Clark shares the floor with Aaliyah Boston, the #3 ranked young star. While they appear to be a dynamic duo, insiders wonder how long Boston will be content playing second fiddle as Clark absorbs all the media attention, endorsements, and credit for the team's success. The pressure is building, and one of these locker rooms is bound to crack.
Sonia Citron. I'ma keep it real. I take Sonia Citron over Angel Reese.
I'll take the villain role. I'll take the hit for it, but I know we're growing women's basketball, and you like it or you don't.
You can't ignore the puppet master pulling the strings in this entire saga, ESPN. The network profits handsomely from the Clark versus Reese narrative, splashing their faces across every broadcast and debate show. They built up the rivalry, and now they seem to be tearing it down with a ranking that declares a definitive winner. Many have accused the network of blatant favoritism, using its massive platform to protect its investment in Clark while minimizing Reese's accomplishments. They aren't just reporters of the news, they are active participants, shaping public opinion and essentially deciding who gets to be a superstar. The list wasn't just a ranking, it was a corporate decision.
Steal. Reese all the way in to give LSU the win. Edgar gets denied. Clark shakes Van Lith into the lane, gets fouled by Reese. And then Angel Reese takes a tumble afterwards.
This war isn't just for trophies, it's for fortunes. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA triggered a financial tidal wave, culminating in a rumored $28 million deal with Nike that includes her own signature shoe, a level of endorsement unheard of for a rookie. She's the face of State Farm, Gatorade, and a dozen other brands. Angel Reese, however, is a marketing force in her own right, with a portfolio that includes Reebok and Sports Illustrated, but the gap is widening. Every point Clark scores and every record she breaks translates into more marketing power, leaving Reese in a constant battle to prove her own commercial value. The fight for the top spot isn't just about pride, it's a multi-million-dollar war for market supremacy.
She's going to be good because she got two skill sets. She can score the basketball and she can assist the basketball.
Angel Reese is struggling with the fact that Caitlin Clark is better.
Just when it seemed like Caitlin Clark's ascent was unstoppable, a shocking decision sent waves through the sports world. She was left off the U.S. Olympic basketball team. The official reason was a lack of experience, but fans and analysts called it an outrageous snub. It was the first major blow to Clark's seemingly perfect career, a public statement that despite her fame, she wasn't yet accepted by the old guard. While Clark handled the news with grace, you have to imagine it was a moment of quiet celebration in her rivals' camps. For the first time, the Golden Girl had been told no, proving that she was in fact human.
Angel Reese, once those initial all-star ballots came out and you saw you might not make the all-star team, you did turn up. I give you full credit for that. You start flat out balling. Before that, you was garbage. Since that run, you've been okay.
The on-court battles are nothing compared to the war raging online. The Clark versus Reese debate has created one of the most toxic fan environments in modern sports. Social media is a cesspool of bad faith arguments, personal attacks, and thinly veiled prejudice. The conversations often veer into ugly territory, with the discussion around the two players highlighting deep-seated biases about race, class, and personality. Each fan base is locked in a trench war of their own making, defending their chosen hero and demonizing the other with a vitriol that feels deeply personal. They are no longer just athletes. They are symbols in a culture war they never asked to be a part of.
Say we should give her a little bit more grace. Now it gets interesting. Number 3 is Aaliyah Boston. So the Indiana Fever have 2 of the top 3 players under 25.
She's better at everything.
And
Get a triple-double. She's tied for the third most triple-doubles in WNBA history, and she's played 50 games.
If Angel Reese thinks her only problem is Caitlin Clark, she's dangerously mistaken. The league is filled with a new generation of talent ready to claw their way to the top. At number 6, Sonia Citron is already a far more efficient and versatile scorer. Cameron Brink, before her injury, was being called a defensive revolutionary, a modern-day Bill Russell. Her own teammate, Camila Cardoso, is waiting in the wings. These players aren't just chasing Reese, they're bringing skills to the table that Reese has yet to develop. Her spot at number 5 isn't a respectable position, it's a precarious ledge, and the ground beneath her is crumbling fast.
She will pretty much become the all-time leader in WNBA triple-doubles.
In the end, the ESPN list didn't kill a rivalry. It simply exposed the truth about what it really was. It was never just Clark versus Reese. It was a clash of styles, personalities, and media narratives. Clark was the phenom, the offensive supernova destined for greatness. Reese was the fierce competitor, the champion who refused to bow down. The hype sold us a battle between equals, but the reality is a story of one player's historic rise and another's struggle to stay in the conversation. The question now is not whether Reese can beat Clark, but whether she can escape her shadow, or perhaps in the end they'll both realize that this fiery, toxic, and unforgettable rivalry is the very thing that will cement both of their legacies forever.